It's not hard to say that M.L. Woodruff put Parkview Baptist baseball indelibly in the minds of high school baseball fans after 23 playoff appearances and 11 state championships. And those titles came in the 1980s, the 90s, and the decade of the 2000s. The Eagles were 22-0 in all state semifinals and finals in which they played.
You know, kind of the old saying, if you build it, they will come, you know. And then I remember Coach Woodruff telling me one time, he was like, I was kind of ready to retire before I did, but we just kept winning, you know. And so what a good problem to have, right?
30 years teaching and coaching, 603 victories, a National Coach of the Year. His players, including many here tonight, realized this coach was a mentor, a father figure, and to many, a lifelong friend.
I remember that game days were the days that we showed up and we got to have fun. Would he hold us accountable? Absolutely. But the practices and the preparation, the lead up to those game days were always the most strenuous time for us. I mean, we showed up to games and it was easy.
He told me an interesting story when we spoke about, you know, artificial turf is great, but he always liked grass. And one of the things that you miss when you don't have grass and real dirt is you don't have to tarp your field. And tarping the field is kind of like the ultimate team exercise. And you wouldn't think about that as being significant, but he thought it was.
He's much more than 11 state championships, much more than his winning percentage reflects. He is a guy of character, a guy of integrity, and somebody that taught the game of life through baseball.
The State High School and State Baseball Coaches Associations have already inducted him. And this evening, on a night when baseball stars are celebrated with 4 inductees, this coach now has a spot in Natchitoches in our building.
I mean, you see the banners and the signs on the wall for state championships. Coach can't go play in the big leagues, he can't go throw pitches anymore, but he can lead young men to championships, and if that's the measure of success, well then he's certainly at the top of that list.
Ladies and gentlemen, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer, Coach M.L. Woodruff.
Hello again, Coach. Great to see you. Congratulations. Take that right there. What a ride, huh? The culmination of quite a journey for somebody who never thought he was going to be a baseball coach. Now we're sitting here inducting you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I didn't dream of this one. I didn't dream of this one.
What was your idea of what you wanted to do before baseball wound up interrupting and making you take a left turn and having all this success?
Well, my goal was to be an elementary PE teacher. And my first job, I was an elementary PE teacher at Freshwater Elementary, and I loved every second of it. But a guy that was the PE teacher at the school had taken a job as a principal at another school, and I didn't know it till the end of the school year. That guy had to come back to his job, and it left me without a job. So I started coaching, not because I wanted to coach, I just needed a job.
Worked out pretty good. Good decision. So you get to coaching. You're a young coach getting in there, and I know that you had one incident with a player who was about 5 or 6 inches taller than you, bigger than you, that had you questioning, but it also turned things around and sent you on the right path. Why don't you share that story with us?
Yeah, so my story is I don't love to win, I just hate to lose. And I had a player named Mike Stovall, and Mike was about 6'3". He was a catcher. And I had played baseball at LSU, so I knew a little bit about the game. And Mike was long out of his glove. He went down backing up like a pitcher, and he couldn't throw anybody else out. They were stealing our wallets. They were stealing our cars and everything else. So I had to practice at home coaching him. So I got him to practice early. I went through all the stuff I needed to. And to my amazement, he listened to every word that I said. And I felt in my spirit God say for the first time, says, I believe you can do this. I know that you can do this.
Well, not only did you do it and do it very well, if you wanted to get this man, you better get him before he gets to the state semifinals, because once he reached the state semifinals and finals, he went 22-0. So you better get him early. That's where he found success. And you just mentioned that you had a calling. You have a different calling now, and I know you're still coaching, but it's not necessarily between the lines and around the bases, but you're actually coaching coaches. Why don't you share with everybody what you're doing?
Well, I'm getting to that point. So my second story was I was called into ministry at 54 years of age, and I can remember crying on my floor in my office, crying out to God, like, what else is there to do? Is this all that there is, just winning these baseball games and state championships? And I felt in the spirit again that I was called into sports ministry. Our church was starting a sports ministry, and I was called into it. So went from leading 60 kids to leading over 1,000 kids in a year with their parents and their aunts and uncles, and had a chance to look at sports differently in the light of how God saw it, rather than how I thought about it.
And now you're recruiting coaches, you're getting Bible studies. Is it just in Baton Rouge? Your goal, I believe, is statewide, correct?
Well, the third chapter is September 21st. I'm going to retire from sports ministry. But at the same time, I have another calling, is to start Bible studies in high schools for coaches. So what I've always wanted to do is to coach coaches. I enjoy coaching. I love doing it. But I always wanted to coach because I felt like I impacted players, and now have a chance, an opportunity to impact those that impact the players.
Well, I know it's wonderful work you're going to do after the. Was I the only one that caught how he just glossed over what else is there to do besides winning all these state titles? Did you hear how easy that came out? We'd all love to get one, and he's got so many under his belt. Everything you did on the diamond was outstanding. What you're doing afterwards is outstanding. It's been a great year. Go ahead.
We define winning as not what we did, but it was the process of how we did it and who we did it for.
And your process has been great, and we now enjoy celebrating you tonight. Congratulations on being a member of the class of 2023. Coach M.L. Woodruff, everybody.